Good morning, this is the Nintendo Kid coming at you with some Project 2600. I'm sorry if today might actually be Project 2600 heavy, but you know, I mean, like, wonderful Wednesday, had that thing recorded before I was sick, haven't edited it, so might as well get your money's worth. So this is Atari Pacman. So that, this is kind of hard with the joystick. So you might have noticed this, but this is barely Pacman, for one thing. The sound effects are obviously crappy, but we've all probably seen that AVGN episode. Rage quit. I've actually gotten to level 2 before, so yeah, Pacman. You know, this is actually one of Tech Tite's top 10 disasters in gaming history. I don't remember which number it was, but it's on there. I've watched that top 10 so many times, and I don't know if they ever made anything more, or if they just didn't upload to YouTube, and I'm not gonna have enough power to get there, am I? I did, I got it, sweet. So yeah, you know, like, alright, basically if there weren't any sounds, this would actually be a good port of Pacman, because, you know, look, it's actually Pacman. You know, look, I'm little Pacman, I can eat ghosts, I'm collecting these pellets. You know, obviously, it never looks as good as the arcade, especially with this being Atari 2600. You know, it's actually, I kind of had this little argument. Did I just die? No. You have to hold up for a lot to get out, I guess. I had this argument in school today, actually. From the time periods, what was better? Super Mario on the... Oh, he was done? I didn't have a cue to tell me that. From their respective, you know, time periods, what was better? Super Mario for the SNES or Call of Duty Black Ops 2? Now, you think the obvious, you know, here's the obvious answer. It's Super Mario. It's not just the exact same game you released a year earlier, but... You know, like, there was actually planning and stuff that went into Super Mario on the SNES, unlike, obviously, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. You know what I'm trying to say here, right? Mario revolutionized gaming. You wouldn't have, like, certain kind of things. You know, I mean, it definitely put a good perspective on mounts and stuff, and, like, Warcraft, if you want. I should have gone for the power stuff. And, crap. So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if there's any other game modes, but I don't really care. Like, Mario is always going to be better than Call of Duty. And then they're all like, well, I played that when I was 7. Well, good job, you know, there's actually people that still play it now. I, for one, you know, really famous people that actually make money. And then, you know, I thought about it, there are ways to make money on Call of Duty, but that's, you know, like the pro gamer circuit, MLG, Major League Gaming, all that crap. But, like, it's like, Call of Duty doesn't require much skill. Yeah, I said that. I actually read, like, something I'm about to say in the YouTube comment, but I'm gonna, like, paraphrase. That was actually the joystick that time. Is that anyone can run around with a UMP with, like, the... whatever that perk is that, like, makes your gun fire all spectacularly. Not the rapid fire one, the, more damage one. I think... Did I just lose? No. No, the ghost... That was a giant fail. I was gonna reset. And yeah, but, you know, that's just my opinion. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure there's actually people, you know, that's my dog barking. That's Corey, by the way. She barks a lot, especially at mailmen, cats, and things you can't even see. Because dogs have more hearing and stuff. So it's really awesome trying to figure out what she's barking at. Most of the time, it's nothing. I fail at this. Whatever. I only gotta play it for like another 10 minutes. So yeah, tiny rant, obviously, you know, like, from my perspective, and from their time periods, like, you know, I'm gonna go as far out to say, if you look at it with the technology around their time, the SNES is probably better than the Xbox. Probably. Like, no means do I mean to, like, try to compare specs and stuff, but, look, I know there's obviously a lot of bad SNES, NES games, but, like, at least the majority of them were original. You know, like, they had this one joke on X-Play one time, where it was like, whoever the chick is, who's actually now the main host because they lost Adam Sessler, whoever that, like, Morgan Blair, something like that, there was actually this joke on there one time where it was like, I've now played 20 World War II shooters, my quota for the year finished early, something like that. But if you think about it, that's the truth, even with just shooters in general. Like, there's so many of them. Like, I understand Call of Duty 2 actually has a little bit of a idea to it, where it's a little bit futuristic and stuff, but for the most part, it's the exact same game they released last year. Actually, I did hit my controller that time. So yeah, there's a pellet right there, I see it. Oh, I was about to go for the reset. That would have been bad. Reset. So, yeah. What else? So my room is really messy right now. My dad's co-worker's son, like, the family's not poor, they just have a lot of kids. And every time, you know, he comes over here, he always asks for stuff. And I do give him stuff. And he's, like, kind of ungrateful, because he always wants more. So, the day he came over, he was like, yeah, I got games from, my aunts, and he's, like, 5. He calls them his sisters, but I'm just gonna say aunts, because that's the correct thing. You know, like, for the PlayStation or whatever, PlayStation 2 or 3, I don't know. He just says PlayStation. I don't know if he can count or whatever. So, he tells me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. So then, you know, we're in this room, and he wants to do something. So I'm like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to play a game. Now, to clarify why I do not like to play with games with him, especially during my birthday and some, like, the first 2 visits before that, whenever I would suggest a game to play, he would be like, yeah, I play it, I know how to do that, I do it, you know? And then he was like, okay, I want to play this one. Oh, what's that say? We have that. I don't know what it says. And I'll be like, that one is called Left 4 Dead. And I'd say it slowly so he can understand or whatever. You know, he's only 5. And why are the ghosts the same color? I'm having a seizure. And he'd be like, yeah, Left 4 Dead. You know, he says it the way I did because, you know, that's just how impressionable children are. There's actually a Vsauce lean back video that talked about that, how chimps are, like, better than us at learning, and that's, like, how they figured out how we want to police grown, but whatever, off topic. And so I set up Pacman for him. So I come in here for Wonderful Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, what to play? So I just put on Pacman, so now I'm reminded. So now I'm ranting, you know? And he's like, okay, it's amazing! So I tell him, if you lose, hit that button to try again. You know, I tell him, you flick that switch, right? You know, I'm pretty sure he understands what switches are. So I leave the room. You know, I probably got a drink, and I started talking to my mother or something. And he starts, like, yelling or whatever. And he's like, this is too hard. It's unfair. And I come in the room. He's not even holding the joystick, actually. It's, like, in his lap. He didn't even just lose. I would have heard, right? Because it was, like, really loud for some reason. And I was like, what is going on here? You know, so turns out, from the psychology of it, I can just say that he probably just wants to be around me because I'm older. And then I come in here and he's like, "It's impossible. You can't play it." So I tell him, you know, obviously you can. I can beat this. So he's like, "Go ahead, beat your first level." So I take the joystick from him and I just beat the first level, like no problem. And then the second one I've actually beaten. The second one I beat on the video. Pretty much the same. There's just more pellets. And he's like, okay, whatever. So then he's like, I want to play something else. And I'm like, okay, here's the games. I give him the Atari games, and he's like, I want to play the Xbox stuff. I'm like, well, the Xbox isn't hooked up, right? Because it actually wasn't. I took the hard drive out because during Hurricane Sandy, I wasn't supposed to be in the back room because there's a tree in the back that might have fallen over or something. So I took the hard drive and I took the other Xbox that was just in the regular room, and I set it up in my room. So that's beside the point. And I didn't, you know, want to just go get the hard drive and stuff, because then I would have had to do the whole recover your gamer tag crap. Probably update something like always, and who really cares? It's like, it's not as bad as iTunes. It just takes a while. So he like really wants stuff, and he's like, okay, well, I want to try this some more. Can I have this? And I tell him, no, you can't have this. It's mine. And he's like, well, who cares? So you know the box I prop up my laptop with so I can play the games and stuff. Well, he's like, what's in here? And he opens the box. He starts dumping everything in the floor. I'm going to tell you most of the stuff that's in the box, right? We have a trophy. We have a, not Bakugans, Beyblade, one of those little plastic things, like the good ones when they were all metal and customizable. One of those plastic dueling arenas, I guess. One Beanie Baby. It's a rhinoceros. What else? My fuzzy dice that I got at a baseball game. Let's see. And then a whole bunch of books I had when I was like a younger child, like the Nickelodeon books, the mail away ones. And I was, you know, like he looks at them and he's like, oh, can I have these? And he's like, so it's like, I'm like, no, I had them when I was a kid, you know, they're important to me. And he's like, well, why? It's not like you read them. And I'm like, well, no, I don't read them, but I used to, and that's why they're special to me. And he really didn't care, so he was just like, well, what in this room do you not like that you can give to me? And I'm like, well, the reason most of the stuff is in this room is because I like it, you know? That's the reason why they're here. And he was like, okay. So he goes to my manga shelf, and apparently because there were Pokemon books in the other one, he thought every book in this room was Pokemon, besides the Nickelodeon ones, which he could actually identify. So he's like, oh wow, you have Pokemon books? So I'm like, yeah, I do. He actually, alright, he picks up a Zelda book, right, Zelda, and he's like, oh, wow, that guy's my favorite. So there I direct him to the poster, and I'm like, where is he on this poster? He points straight in the middle, right? I don't even know what he pointed at, knowing that he would get it wrong anyway, because he's not, obviously Link is not a Pokemon. And I'm like, no, that's, I don't even know who it was. It might have been like, I don't know. It might have been like Venonat or something. For some reason I feel as if it was Venonat. That's closer to the top though, but who cares? So then I'm like, well, I really, really want something. So the last time I was here, I gave him like a Spider-Man comic book. right? Like, random Spider-Man comic book I got for free one time. Like, not at, like, free comic book day or whatever. This is gonna be, like, 20 minutes, by the way. I want to tell this whole story. And he, like, really didn't care. And so, he just took it. So we had, me and my dad try to sell some stuff on eBay occasionally. And, we were going to go to a flea market this one time to sell some stuff, but it got rained out or something. And so what happened was, we have all these boxes out here that we need to pack away. And he looks at them and he's like, oh, look at all these cards. He's like, I wish I had Pokemon cards. I love Pokemon, but I don't have anything Pokemon. I don't even think he knew what it was. And, like, he asks me for some. So I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. A lot of them are duplicates, that's why I'm selling them. You never sell the good cards. Unless you do have dupes or whatever. So I get a rubber banded stack of, like, Fossil. Maybe Fossil. I went to a flea market one time and I got a whole giant binder full. That's a different story. And basically the whole thing was that he just wanted more and more. So I gave him about, I'm gonna say 20, like, I was about to say centimeters, and cards isn't right either. So I'd say about a stack about 1.5 inches thick, right? That's a lot of cards. That's like more than a deck sleeveless. I gave him a pretty big bunch. I gave him like a third of the rubber banded stack, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Well, he obviously didn't say that, but that was just like what he did. And he just wants more and more. So then I go out, we talk to his mother, my mother, and we're sitting there and we're like looking in the catalog to figure out what to buy him for. Oh crap, I have another life. Not anymore. What to get him, and whatever. And then he's like, wanna go back in your room? So I go back there with him, and he wants more. Now he wants baseball cards, right? So I pick out a couple of Donruss, because Donruss don't really sell well. And I think that one I only gave him about 1/2 inch worth, just because I just grabbed what I grabbed and I didn't care that much. So, alright, so I'm gonna skip ahead. So when, like, it was half hour before his dad showed up to take him home, basically he pulled out his stuff to put on the table so he wouldn't lose them in his pockets. And he pulls out the stack of baseball cards. It's now 3 inches thick. He actually stole from me. And I'm like, did you really have to steal? And he was like, yeah, but stealing's a good thing! And he started laughing. And I was like, are you serious? And when he left, I actually asked my dad about that. Like, does he really not get, like, anything? And then he's like, no, actually, he does. He just wants. So, it turns out when living in the old house, he actually, my dad said one time when he was getting his jacket to leave, they were actually like Matchbox cards flying out of his pockets because he tried to take some stuff. And it's like, oh my god. So yeah, so when I die, that'll be the end of Pacman. I just really can't stand that kid. That's really bad to say, but like, God, there's always one type of person or group of people you don't like. Not to try to sound racist, but for me, little children is that group with a passion. So anyway, I will see you guys next time.